so very much for being part of UBC TV. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda Extra. I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono. Now, what we usually do in the Extra is we have a guest or guests and we discuss issues of national concern. Now, this morning we want to look at unemployment and employment issues. When we talk about that, it means we are looking at the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. Joining me this morning, I have the mouthpiece, some will call him the head of communication or the public relations officer, Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, Joshua Chalimpa, with whom we are going to be discussing some of these issues. When we talk about unemployment in Uganda, we talk about a very young population of which a number of these young lads and beautiful ladies actually lack what to do. What is government doing about this? What is the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development doing about this? But also, let's look at the working conditions. Mostly in a country where we're craving for a minimum wage, and this has had all back and forth movements. At one time, Parliament was done and they thought they were dusted, but the President said, we will not assent to this because I've been advised that this may create unemployment by scaling away investors in our country. So much this morning you can't afford to miss. Welcome, Joshua, to the studios.
Thank you very much, Comrade Chirabo, for always according us this opportunity to talk about the national issues, issues that are of concern to all Ugandans, to all of us. And as the Minister of Gender, we handle all aspects of people. That's why we call ourselves the People's Ministry. From children, youth, older persons, and all the issues around them. So we're always happy to talk to the people.
Now, Joshua, first things first. When you move around and when you look at a number of statistics, much as we're proud and pride in having one of the youngest population on the continent, Africa, and globally still too, one of the countries with the youngest population, many have said this is a time bomb. We have quantity, but not quality, because men are unemployed. The unemployment question. Of course, you know, not all can be employed by government, but government creates situations, environment, conducive conditions to absorb these people. What are you doing as the Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development?
Thank you, Chirabo. I think you and me will agree that the government has been doing the catch-up. There is a lot of time that was lost due to the turbulent past of this country. And as we talk now, policies that are shaping to try to do the catch-up. A country is supposed to be the creation of jobs in a country are supposed to match with the number of people it churns out that are employable. Some of them, of course, are in the skilled sector. Those who have gone to school, they have attained the requisite qualifications and are open for job. But there are also those who did not have the opportunity to get the skills. And therefore, still the Ministry of Gender and all the government have to look at how to make these people productive. And that's where I say that the government has been doing the catch-up. One is that once we liberalized the economy, it meant that the private sector has to help the country in making available these jobs. Because in the past ways we had the government parastatals, the corporations, majority of people were being employed by the government. As we talk now, the focus of government has been one in attracting investments, foreign and local investments, with the belief that this can make available the jobs that we need. Of course, now that one is also changing. I see the revitalization of the UDC, Uganda Development Corporation. I can see that already the government is thinking around broadening the employment opportunities by also now thinking about new investments, government investments. there's a lot of talk about the sectors which are opening up, like the aero sector, where we hope that many Ugandans can be employed in the sector. But there's also expanding the job creation among the youth and all sectors of society, whereby also government believes that even when you have jobs, there are many Ugandans who would want to employ themselves. Ugandans have been known for being entrepreneur, and that's why you see in most of the arcades in town, people running their own businesses. You will still have many of those. And how is government supporting them? Government supports them, one, by making available the capital that they need, by opening up opportunities for skilling, by addressing them as specific sectors, women, youth, where we have specific programs that are looking at how these people can be helped to start enterprises of their own, with a view that once these enterprises grow and expand, they can also employ other Ugandans. That's the approach which is also good for the country. Other countries have achieved it. The Chinese have done it. India is doing it, where you have cottage industries which are employing people. So, yes, the Ministry of Gender, whereas we are looking at this, but we are also looking at how we can put in place policies that support this. And in line with that, because we know that employment is a cross-cutting issue.
Very true.
Ministry of Trade and Industry is also addressing it in some way. Ministry of Health also addresses it in some way, because there are people who are employed. The public service also addresses it in a way. However, the mandate of putting in place the policies that facilitate this process lies within the ministry. This we are achieving. There is also one area, I'm sure that as we gear up to International Labour Day, which should be coming up very soon, there are important products that the Ministry of Gender will open up, will be showcasing. For example, we are looking at job matching platforms. With the advent of the new media, social media, and all these other platforms, you find that many youth have migrated there. They are doing TikTok, they are doing many of those things, but we want now to expand this such that even when you are there, you can be matched to a job if a job is available. So the requirement of this will be that those who have the jobs will make them available through those platforms, which the ministry is creating a platform of the sort, such that you can go there to TikTok, but you can end up hooking to a job somewhere in this country, because some jobs exist. The information about the availability of those jobs, especially in far remote places, even when they are not remote, is not there. And the other one is that we have to look at the figures. Whereas we say that jobs have been created, there have not been substantive data to show how many of those have been created in a quarter, in a year, in a period. And this also the ministry is working on. We hope that once these are launched, very soon indeed, Ugandans will be able to know how the journey we have walked so far. For me, from where I sit, I see that there is a lot of progress, and with this growing goodwill, I think that the country is moving in the space of job creation. Of course, after that, it will open up another discussion about the quality.
Even before you go to the quality of jobs, Joshua, you rightly said that now government is focusing more on the private sector. But the challenge here we have is research has shown that a number of our businesses that open up do not live to see their first birthday. I remember recently there was a research that put it that almost over half of the businesses that open up do not make it to a period of 15 years. Now, this shows that even where we are running to, many of these are struggling. There are some initiatives I've seen by government of Uganda through the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development that are targeting empowering small, medium and micro enterprises. But these are the very businesses that are shutting down. When you talk about the arcades, when you move around Kampala, today if you go to, I don't want to mention a particular arcade, you look at room number 0413. Take a year, you're going to find that that person who was there is no longer there. In a year, about 3 people have taken over that. They come, they fail, another comes in. Another comes in, they fail, another comes in. I tried to do some research after being a victim of this as well. And wondering, am I the one who is having a problem? But you notice that, so with that, how is the ministry? Because in the private sector, when you go to industries that you actually also talked about, you find one, and this has been a question, are we reaping from investors in terms of employment, or are we reaping from investors in terms of substituting imports with exports? Why? Many have said, yes, they come in, we have tax holidays, they have electricity, we have the industrial parks, they have the land. But when you look at the scale of what the people that are making for them that money, because an investor is coming to make profits. If they are not, they are closing and going away. When you look at the people that are making them the money, leave alone us being able to purchase things outside who are not employed by them, that these people are actually being over-exploited. Given 3,000 a day, 5,000 a day. Many don't have contracts, so when you come in, you can't take them on. So it's a mix. We are thinking there is employment, and unfortunately, we are wasting years of this youthful age, assuming they're in the work group because they wake up and go and work. But at the end of the day, they are not.
I can see two aspects that
businesses falling,
you are
and the other side of the investors. Yes.
I will start with the issue of businesses. I think again there is no independent study which has been conducted. Therefore, I will depend on my knowledge of the business environment as a Ugandan. One, there are two aspects, and the president has spoken about it. There is the aspect of production. Ugandans getting involved in the production process. The production space has been flourishing. Anybody who starts something, there is some small business I saw coming up. I will not mention it, but they were roasting groundnuts, making popcorn, making daddies. They have expanded. They are somewhere. I'm not going to mention them. Now, if you have a product that you are producing, the tax regime, the environment favors you, because the government attitude has been towards spurring production, especially local production. That's why even investors, foreign investors, when they come, they find the investment environment conducive. Now, it opens up to another discussion. One is the people who have been in trade, that is importing products from China and from those other countries. Probably the environment has been favoring them. So, but we have to agree, you can't have your cake and keep it. What approach do we take as a country? Should we encourage import? And I think the policy of government has been import substitution, that where we can produce locally, that should be encouraged, because by producing locally, it means that you are also creating, to the topic of job creation that we are talking about. We want the jobs to be created here. If you import from China or India, it means that the jobs, yes, are being created, but you are facilitating the creation of jobs in China and India. I've been following Trump policies, the new president of America. And even him, I think that is the approach he's taking, that how do you bring production back in the United States? The car industry has been affected. I think we have to look at that. Now, the other one is a debate which is ongoing, that the quality of jobs.
Yes.
Yes, that is a debate which has been on for some time. I know there's been even debate about the law on minimum wage. Different people have spoken about it. Why are, for example, companies choosing to invest or even outsource production? One of the areas they are looking at is the availability of cheap labor. That's why companies moved from the United States, from the UK, to go and produce in China where there was cheap labor. Now, if we went ahead with the policy about minimum wage, probably we'll lose out on that advantage of having cheap labor that attracts foreign investment. Now, it is a debate which continues. I have no answer to it, but again, I say that this should be the decision of the policymakers. Of course, for us, as the Minister of Gender, our dream is to have a situation where people work, get the remuneration that is adequate, because that's the mandate of the Minister of Gender. But this is a policy matter that has to be addressed from within government.
Well, the minimum wage, Joshua, gives you the answer. It's a policy matter, and as the ministry, they implement what has come to them. And of course, they follow policies. Now that goes back to our legislators, the members of parliament. That goes back to the civil society organizations that do push and push and push and compel things to be where they feel workers' rights. Because rightly said, we have investors in this country. And if we talk about import substitution, I think we are doing very well as a country. There's so much we used to import. We used to import into Uganda, but today it's manufactured here. You have a choice to decide. Either you go for what is imported or what is manufactured here. The only problem sometimes, Joshua, is that what is manufactured here is more expensive than what is imported. And they will tell you factors of production, electricity, this and that, and then still a Ugandan ends up getting something that has been imported. On a slighter note, also issues of quality come in, but I think also that has mindset change as well. So those are some of the complications. Now I'm going to go for a break. When we return, I want now to target at specific programs under Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development that particularly target poverty alleviation. We return.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Arroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Arroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. Come and discover our exclusive wellness club with packages that include a fully equipped gym, a rejuvenating sauna, steam bath, and a great sky blue swimming pool. For events, our state-of-art conference halls and versatile event spaces are perfect for hosting shows, wedding receptions, birthdays, and more. Come and enjoy our cinema hall and unisex saloon, all designed to meet your entertainment and grooming needs. Bring your family and let your kids splash around in our beautiful kids water park. We are located on Arroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Arroa City. Don't wait. Visit us on www.hotellaconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Looking for instant excitement? The Uganda National Lottery Spin for Cash game is now available online. Wherever you are, you can join the excitement for just 500, 1,000 and 2,000 Uganda shillings. Don't miss out. Register now on www.nationallottery.go.ug for a chance to win your share of 2 billion instantly. What are you waiting for? Play Spin for Cash now, anytime, anywhere. Ituba is the proud operator of the Uganda National Lottery.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort and pride with Royal Foam Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. Our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality materials made to last. Experience royalty with Royal Foam Furniture, proudly made in Uganda, so buy Uganda and build Uganda. Visit our showrooms at Ginger Road, Chambogo Junction, Bukota Chisasi Road, and on Victoria Mall, Entebbe, on the first floor.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
You're still watching the Extra. Thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. Robert Chirabo, Nyonyintono, and with me I have the spokesperson, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, with whom we are looking at issues of unemployment in this country and employment conditions. Everyone would love to work over working age and earn a living. But the question is, where are the jobs? Where do you have high levels of unemployment? The other is, what kind of jobs are available? Are people in meaningful employment, or are they just spending a part of their youthfulness going and working, yet what they are earning cannot cause any form of transformation in their lives? Now, Joshua, I earlier informed our viewer that when we return, we want to look at specific programs by the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development that are targeting fighting poverty, that are targeting empowering the youth or the special groups in our country. Let's look at some of them.
Thank you. First of all, Comrade Chirabo, the government and the ministry in particular recognizes some of the challenges that are faced by Ugandans. Mm-hmm. And most of these interventions talk to those challenges. One of the challenges is been the cost of capital. For you to be able to start a business, whereas you need other factors of production, the most important aspect is the access to capital. The capital in Uganda is quite expensive. When I say capital, you also look at the interest rates by the banks. Some of them go up to even 30%.
Yes.
And most banks is between 24% and others. Now, compare that with other countries. You find, for example, if an investor is coming from China to come and start up a factory, I'm assuming that, okay, not assuming, they will have gotten their capital from China at the interest rate which is low. If the investor comes from India to start up a factory here, their capital will have originated from India, where the interest rates are low. Supposing a Ugandan wants to start a similar business, their capital will have originated from Uganda, where the interest rates are high. It means, therefore, that puts Ugandans at a disadvantage they cannot favorably compete with other investors who come. I think that's why some Ugandans even have a belief that government favors the foreign investors. It could not be the case, but those factors. Now, the other one is, you talked about the production costs. I'm happy that the government now is looking at the issue of power. Just 2 days ago, Uganda reclaimed umeme. And now, on the same day of reclaiming umeme, there was this big announcement that the electricity costs would go down by 14%.
Yes.
Now, the government also, there was the issue of the Bujagal Falls. I mean, the Owen Falls, where there was this agreement between some investors when they were starting the dam, and the president has been complaining about the cost of power, a unit of power, and how it impacts
the power generation.
The power generation at the dam. That negotiation, the deal that we had, which disfavors Uganda and production. Now, all those combined puts us at a disadvantage. But, of course, government is addressing it. The power generation is going up. And as a result, once we have more power and the costs also go down, it means that we stand at an advantage. The other one is about the quality and then the technical know-how. Take, for example, if you look at most of our products which are produced, they are not, they do not have a UNBS seal. The Uganda National Bureau of Standards has to certify the quality, and the certification starts from the premises where you're producing them from. You are packing juice. Where do you pack it from? You find that most of those places don't meet the standards. Now, the implication of that is that if you don't have a UNBS seal, therefore access to the chains, the supermarket chains, also is restricted because your products can't make it the shelf. Those are the areas that the Ministry of Gender is addressing. We are working with different partnerships. For example, under the program of GROW, one of the areas that is being supported, GROW is the program which is targeting women and their enterprises. And these are the women who are not at the starting level, but they have already started.
Enterprises or women entrepreneurs?
Women entrepreneurs and women enterprises. Basically, that's where the target is. If you started a business already and you need to grow it and expand it, you have access to big money, and which is cheap compared to the rates of a bank. And that money can help you now to meet all these quality issues. You can brand your products, you can have access to the market, you can improve your places of work. Therefore, if UNBS comes, definitely you pass the test. We are also working with under partnerships with the UNBS to ensure that these processes are facilitated, including the payments thereof. Then the other one is the technical know-how. We are partnering with the government institutions like URI, the Uganda Industrial Research Institute. The idea is that our people have been doing these things. People make the buns, the bread, using ovens, bake the bread using ovens that use firewood. Make a few of them, and probably to feed the community or a village. Now, when you look at expansion, it means that you have to look at processes that can help you to make the bread, the buns, the pancakes, that can supply a whole country. And to have the know-how of doing that, it means that you need extra skills. That's where we now partner with the Uganda Industrial Research Institute to ensure that these skills are given to the Ugandans to be able to do it. The other one is that we are aware that once you put all these on the same tray, others could be left behind. Youth could be left behind, women could be left behind, people with disabilities could be left behind. That's why over and above all these, there are specific interventions that target specific categories of people. We have a program that targets the youth because we know that the youth have peculiar needs. We have a program that supports women because we know that women may not compete with the men. That's why even in the other government programs, the ministry has advocated for engendering of those programs. That's why in PDM, you have a specific provision that allocates 30% to women and 30% to youth. It is because of the understanding that these have special needs. We also have programs that address people with disabilities. Aware that if we left them to compete with others, probably they will be left behind. And we have programs that specifically target people with disabilities. We also have
these programs because when you just say,
and when you have,
we want them to know so that when they're speaking to their leaders, their firms, they're like, I need these special grant
I'll
for
mention
persons.
yes. There is. I'll mention them.
Yes.
I was already going to one, which is the special grant for older persons, SEGOP. That one, we knew, the ministry knew that, okay, there are other programs. We have another program called SAGE. That one is where we give a monthly stipend of 25,000 to older persons from 80 and above.
But these days they're receiving it quarterly.
But when they receive, it's because of areas. When they receive quarterly, they receive for
about 75,000.
They receive 75,000. So that means that it is 25 times 3 months. So they get all of it, again to cut costs of distributing it, but also because government operates in the quarterly arrangement. The money comes from government and it is released quarterly. So because of that, we also have to give it as and when it is released. Now, we are aware that some category of older persons get that 25,000. Yes. But that is assuming that once you grow old, you cannot work. So we were cognizant of that fact, that there are, yes, some older persons, but who still have the energy to work. And we see it in their working in their gardens, they are doing small businesses. That's why now the ministry designed another special program, the SEGOP program, now to give those people money so they can be able to run their business. And we see once they get the money, they are helping the grandchildren, their life also improves, they manage their health without being dependent.
How much are they given and what does it take for an older person to benefit from SEGO?
No, it's not about, it's unlike the other one which gives 25,000. This one is dependent on the enterprise that you are going to undertake. And in any way you can get 5 million, you can even get 80 million so that you are able to start your enterprise. You might, for example, for me, where I come from, the older people have land, they are growing sugarcane. If, for example, you want money to till your garden and plant the sugarcane, you have where to run to and get that money and start the enterprise. But we also know that there is another category of people I talked about the people with disabilities, where we have a disability special grant.
Okay.
A grant that is given to people with disabilities so that they are able to fend for themselves, so that they are not a burden to the caregivers, so they are able to survive on their own. So there are quite a number of them. There's another one which we have, the Juakali program within the ministry. This one looks at the tools of the game. You are doing welding, you need the equipment to help you do the welding. The Ministry of Gender makes available the equipment and is given. This one is not actually a loan, it's a grant to people to be able to do their business.
But a grant of you totally means you pay back nothing. It is just given to you. You pay back nothing. You get this equipment, maybe you're in furniture, you're carpenters, you've always been moving a distance to go and do those designs on the wood. Now you get a designer machine. Maybe your tailors, there's some extra machine you need to do to patch up fashions and all that. Government gets you that machine. Fishermen, so there is so much in terms of machinery that is given through this program, and Chalimpa has assured us it's a grant. Now Joshua, I see time may be flying. Let's understand, why with all these initiatives are we still having unemployment? Why with all these initiatives we've not gone into youth livelihood, we've not gone into, there are a number under the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, but we still see biting poverty. Why? With billions inserted, budgeted for. Recently I saw the president talk about PDM, where he said, even we've been getting 100 million per parish. We should go to maybe double this money. So we are looking, why isn't it in tandem what government is putting in since NRM came into power? They have been having various attempts to give people money, give assistance, train people to fight poverty, but you still find that maybe the impact, the transformation is not in tandem.
I think, Shiravo, that is a question for me and you to answer. But
and not forgetting, actually, just a minute, on addition to that, to make more sense, I've also realized that you find one individual tapping in all these programs. This is the person, if he has a disability, that disability grant. If he's aging, he's in the older person's go. PDM, he's the very person benefited. Then, remember the Prime Minister, I think was it last year, this year, said, but if these people are in all these programs, we should even, I think, arrest them. Why are you still poor?
That's what I was saying, that this is a question for you and me to answer. I know, of course, that there is the issue of mindset. You are asking that why should one person be going to access different programs? It may not be that others don't know about the existence of the programs. It may also not be that the other people are favoring this person. But some people hear of these programs and take matters lying. They just stay and don't act. Now the issue is, should the government slap those programs on the people forcefully?
No.
That is now a debate that I know that some people have been advocating for a policy that enforces programs along the lines of how Singapore was able to develop through now the famous Lee Kuan Yew, who sometimes people think was a dictator, but was able to enforce change in Singapore forcefully, and it worked. Some have argued that the over-expansion of the democratic regime in Uganda has made people lazy. And because of that, they are not being forced to do even when they should have. I think that's a debate that has to continue. I know some people have been saying, you referred to the Prime Minister who was saying that they should arrest people to ask them why they are still poor, even with the existence of government programs.
What wealth creation inputs You got
And
money. You've gotten a cow was given.
Of course, ours is a fusion between capitalism and my thinking is this. In terms of growing of a country, it may not be disadvantageous for a person in a parish, for example, to tap into these programs, start an enterprise, expand it, and employ others in that parish.
Yes.
It is not also true that all of us have an entrepreneur ability. Some people probably don't have the skills of entrepreneurship. Others have the skills of entrepreneurship. It is the same as leadership. Even where you have groups, and I have done a study about group formation. Even when you have groups, it is probably one person who has a vision and mobilizes others to belong to a group, and sometimes you have this fundamentality syndrome. But we are not going to start and grow at the same time. What is important is that after all these interventions, are there some Ugandans who we can bring and show that they were able to benefit, and this is what they have done? And I'm happy to report that those are so many. That's why you see even the president at rallies inviting people to come and give their testimonies. There are quite a number of testimonies across the country of people who have benefited from these programs. Me, where I come from in Mayuge, even if I had 200 of those who can come, they got the money, their enterprises are flourishing, they are employing, that would be a positive.
Yes.
I would count that as a success story.
Very interesting. The success stories are there. They may not be as many as we owe them to be, or all they should be, but they have seen the president. He's had a number of wealth creation and parish development model tours across the country. And in a number of areas, he brings out role models to look at. Now, that is very good because there are people to show. The question is it in tandem? If, for example, a parish has gotten 100 million shillings, can we say that in a spell of 5 years, where we invested 100 million shillings, we can be able to collect 105 or 10 million in the various ventures that the beneficiaries put this money into? That is a question, and it calls for you as a beneficiary to work very hard, because this is taxpayers' money that you're fortunate to get, and we have a target. If government is looking at the 39% who are out of the money economy, to bring them in the money economy, you're not taking these things serious, then you're derailing us from achieving our target of 2040, where we know at least we've hit that very mark. Now, Joshua, in the interest of time, I must let you go. We have behind the headlines, a replay coming on, but let me just have your parting shot.
For me, first of all, I am a positive thinker. I believe that already, even a journey, the Chinese have been saying that even a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. I believe that as a country, we have made the first steps. I can see light at the end of the tunnel. I think our task now is that to bring all Ugandans on board. I'm happy for UBC for this opportunity that we normally get, because once we come here, first people get to know about the existence of these programs, but also we motivate others. I believe that we should move towards a partnership with UBC, whereby these success stories that I alluded to can speak to the nation about where they have come from, where they are heading, with the hope that it can inspire many other Ugandans to take the same steps. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Joshua. And the UBC, we usually do that. And I'm sure, even after this show, we show you successful people regarding government initiatives aimed at fighting poverty. But the question is, you're there. Are you aware of these programs? Interest yourself to know the various programs that are available. For example, the grant for older persons. Can you imagine older persons just gather together, have your business idea, government gives you money, and then you make various investments and live a fairly better life to what you would have been living. Have the best of your day. It's raining. Please don't forget to plant something. You never know when you need that food. May the good Lord bless you for God and my country.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Juko.
Yo.
Wachikuwa. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of